Hiya too, it's Mrs. Sharples. I hope you are all well and well done for coming to do your home learning with maths today. It's Thursday the 4th of February, so that's the date that you'll need in your books, please. And we're working on rotations. We are going to carry on practicing talking about turns and right angles with then a particular focus with rotations. So let's get going. If you want to, you can put this on a piece of paper or you can pop it into your maths book. And you need the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and have a go at answering these questions. So if you want to pause me, go ahead and do that before I talk you through them. So let's whiz through the answers for this. Complete the part whole model. It's, look, making 68 at the top, 40 was given to you. So you had to work out what else was needed. So if you look at the tens, look, you know that you need 2 more to get to the 6, the 2 tens, and then you need an 8 to make it 28. What time is shown on the clock? Well, hopefully you're getting super good with that. I'm trying to help you keep practicing with that. 9 o'clock. What is the total value of the coins? Here you are, look, you've got 10 and then 2 5s, and we know that 5 and 5 is 10, so 10 and 10 would be 20. What is half of 6? So I'm going to use my song again here. 1 and 1 is 2. Tap it on your shoe. 2 and 2 is 4, stamp it on the floor. 3 and 3 is 6, make your fingers clicks. So have a look here. If we know that 3 and 3 is 6, half of 6 is 3. So that means if we know that, we also know that half of 60 is 30. Okay, so like I said, we're going to practice rotations today. But first of all, let's have a little practice with this. So can you put your hands like this for me? And look, there should be a L on your left hand, but there isn't one on your right. So just a quick practice to make sure in your head, you know this week what your left and your right is. Now, a tip that I've been given in the past to my class is have a look at your left hand too, because you might have a little freckle or you might have something on your right that helps you quickly remember your left and your right. So for example, I've got a little freckle on my left hand and that helps me remember. Well, not that I need it anymore, but when I was little, it helped me remember which one was my left and my right. Okay, now look at the frog. I need you to remember and be sure in your minds that you know that if the frog turns right, it is turning clockwise, remember? So that way, if it goes right, is a clockwise turn. And we call this, look, he did one whole turn, or you can call it a full turn. So I'm quickly trying to make sure that you've got a solid understanding from what we've been learning this week. Now remember, if this rocket turns to the left, we can call that anti-clockwise, okay? If you need to pause me, if I'm going too quick, go ahead and pause me. I'm just trying to recap and check your understanding. Now, anti means opposite of, you remember? So anti-clockwise, it's going the opposite to clockwise. Let's recap quarter turn. The kite might turn part of a whole turn, okay? Part of. This kite, look, is going to turn 1 quarter. And a way to remember that is that a quarter means that there are 4 parts. If you cut a cake into 4, you've cut it into 4 quarters. So if something does a quarter turn, it's doing, look, an equal part of that 4. Okay, this bear might turn part of the whole turn. Look, let's look at the bear turning a quarter turn anti-clockwise. Okay, now we also have been learning a special name for quarter turn, haven't we? When something turns a quarter turn to the left or the right, I'd love to be able for you to tell me what it is. I'm hoping that you're already thinking the special name is right angle. If it is turning the quarter turn to the left or the right, it's a right angle. And yesterday we were practicing that a right angle is also known as a corner, isn't it? Sometimes and I gave you the opportunity to go and have a hunt around at night to try and find them. Okay, let's recap half a turn clockwise, okay? And another way to help you remember that is that half means 2 equal parts. Okay, so it's done half the clock, half a turn. this bike is going to do half a turn anti-clockwise. Now, look, the robot has rotated one whole turn anti-clockwise. So listen to that. The robot has rotated one whole turn anti-clockwise. So which robot, put your hands up now, which picture shows what the robot did? Okay, that's how we started. Which one has shown one whole turn anti-clockwise? Well, it must be that one. So there we go. That one did, from that has done one whole turn anti-clockwise. The boat has rotated half a turn clockwise. That's how it started, and it's only done half a turn, so it's this one. Okay, if I'm going too quick, just pause me so you can have a little think and then put me back on as I whiz through them, as I talk you through it. That's how the fish started, and I would love for you to be able to say, if anyone's near you, or you can say it out loud to me, I'm listening, how far this fish has rotated. Okay, look, this fish has 1/4 turn, and it's done 1/4 turn clockwise. The ladybird, how has that rotated? How has that turned? Look, this ladybird has done 1/2 turn anti-clockwise, but if you had said it's done 1/2 turn clockwise, you would have got that right too, because there's no other arrows to tell you which way it rotated, which way it turned. Now, in the classroom, I'm sure we'd be getting the B-bots out usually, but this is a way to practice you giving instructions. So what I'd like you to maybe say out loud to me or someone near you is, this B-bot, that little machine there, wants to buy some meat. So how would he get to the butcher's shop? There's the butcher's, look. So you could say that the B-bot would move forward, and then he'd do 1/4 turn to the left. Now, we know that 1/4 turn to the left, we can also call a right angle, couldn't we? And then the B-bot would need to move forward, and then the B-bot would need to take a 1/4 turn to the left again, okay? So go straight ahead, then turn left, go straight ahead again, and then turn left. Oh, I like their finishing bit. The butcher's is on your right. That was nice and clear. So we're looking for you to be able to use the language 1/4 turn, right angle, clockwise, anti-clockwise, and feel confident with that. Okay, now have another go. The B-bot wants to buy a newspaper. So how should he get to the newsagents or the kiosk? The word here, look, that says kiosk. So there's a few ways, isn't there, that he could get there. That's where he wants to go. That's where he's starting. He could go straight ahead, or he could go forward. He could take a right turn. Do you see how even I have to tilt my head sometimes to work it out? A right turn, or we could call it a right angle, a 1/4 turn, okay? And so go straight ahead, then turn right, go straight ahead again, then turn left. Now, I actually would love you to be able to use more detail than the answer that it's given here. So being able to say whether it's a 1/4 turn, you could even push yourself a little more and say whether it's a 1/4 turn left or right, or use 1/4 or anti-clockwise. It's practicing that language that we're looking for you to use. Now, guys, if you want to, you could practice this with your family and make it a little bit more hands-on if you want to. And we'd love to see these photographs. So if you've got Lego or Duplo or something like that at home, maybe wooden blocks, you could set out a little maze for your car or your train to follow, and you can push it along. You could set up a little maze with your Lego or the Duplo, and you could have somewhere that you want your car to get to, okay? And through the maze, maybe you could say, or even write down the different directions that your car would need to do to get to the other point. And it's being able, like I said, to use 1/4 turn, being able to use right angle, being able to say anti-clockwise, clockwise, forward, okay? It's being able to use all of that language. Okay, so have a little fun with that if you want to. If you want to do that activity instead of some of the worksheets that I'm sending over, just send a photograph with like maybe a sentence of what you've done. And we'd love to see the variety that you're coming up with. Okay, so let's have a look at this robot now, helping you to look at it in different ways. This robot is starting in this position and it's ended up that way. So now it's looking at these different labels here to describe how that robot has turned. Okay, now he hasn't done a quarter turn for sure. A 3/4 turn? No. A whole turn? No, because he'd be the right way up again. He's done half a turn clockwise, okay? So he's back to his starting position. Let's have a look, see if we can get him back to his starting position again. To get back to the start, to get back to where he was standing upright, that robot would need to go a quarter clockwise, or depending on what labels we've got, he could go 1, 2, 3 quarters anti-clockwise. Now we also know that we could say he could go 3 right angles anti-clockwise, couldn't he? So let's have a look what we've got. Not that one. A quarter turn clockwise it would have to be. There was a few ones that we were looking for then, wasn't there? But we're getting so good at our describing now. I'm talking about turns and position. Oh, the robot just needs to go back to the left, right? The left. There you go. Funny robot. Right. Oh, now the robot needs to go back to upright. So what would I press to get him there? Pause me if you need to, guys. I know I'm talking a lot faster than I normally would, but it's hard with a recording. Okay, so have a think. Pause me if you need to. The robot is going to go upright again. So he could do, let's have a look. Quarter turn anti-clockwise, or a 3/4 turn clockwise. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to go with that. 1, 2, 3. Now in the classroom, I'd be asking you, what else could we call that? And I'd be looking for you to say, you could also say he's done 3 right angles, okay, clockwise. Okay. Another way to look at it, I know this is tricky for you to get, so I'm trying to show you in a few different ways. Have a look at how the cat's trying to catch his tail. That's a funny way of looking at it, right? Now the cat is moving a whole, half, quarter or 3/4 turn. Let's see if we can count it in right angles. I'm making sure that you're solid with that too, hey? Can you think about whether he's moving clockwise or anti-clockwise? Please pause me if you find I'm going too fast. It is faster than I normally would in the classroom. But it's hard when you're not there to respond or to read. Okay, let's watch this. 1 right angle, 2 right angles, 3 right angles, 4 right angles. He's done 4 right angles, which is also a whole, isn't it? And which way was he going? Clockwise. He's going clockwise. Next one. Ready? Watch this cat again. 1/4, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. What's the cat doing? Is he stuck? I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Maybe. How do I go back? I'm not happy with that cat. Let's try again. You ready? Oh, that's better. Right. So how many is he doing now? He's done 1/4 turn, or we could also say 1 right angle turn. Was he going clockwise or anti-clockwise? He was going anti-clockwise. And I'm hoping this is feeling easier and easier as the week has gone on. So I would like to show you some of the activities that I've got ready for you. I've tried to give you a choice because I'm not there to see where you're up to. And you can hopefully pick, maybe with a little help from your mum and dad, which one you want to do, which one you feel like you need more practice in. So let's show you this Education City one first. Hey, I'm going to my share screen now to show you the Education City. There it is. I had some calm music on before while I was getting this ready for you guys, just like when you come in normally. Okay, this Education City game, there is 2 levels to it. This one, called About Turn, only opens once you've done chalk the plank. It will practice your right angles, your quarter turns, anti and anti-clockwise. There's a little video that hopefully that talks you through a little bit too. Now, as teachers, we can see when you've completed this, we can see what score you get. So we'd love for you to have a go at that if you can, because look, there's a little tracking button that I've got access to as a teacher, and I can see how you're doing with that. It's another way for us to gauge how you're finding the home learning that we're setting for you. So if I stop that share, so it's one of the things you can pick, or there are, let me just press share again. I'm still here, guys. There it is. Okay, let's get this up. Come on. I hope you can see that. I hope it's worked. You don't really know until you press at the end when you press stop record. So sometimes, okay, now the easiest activity that I've put on there today, in case you are still finding this all a bit muddly, is this one here. And what you have to do is follow the pattern to practice quarter, half or 3/4 turns. So can you see that this little duck is moving round in a pattern? Okay, so cut out the ducks and you put it in the right one so to follow the pattern. So this duck has done a quarter turn that way, and then another quarter turn, and then another quarter turn. And I'm not even going to use the language anti-clockwise or clockwise there. You can just practice your quarter turns if you like. Now it does get progressed with difficulty if you want further practice, but it depends how you feel, guys. Okay, this one we did a little earlier on in the week, but it depends where you're up to. Okay, so all the other activities that I've got on there are practicing rotation or turns. Okay, so they have more language in the harder they get. So 1/4 turn clockwise, half a turn clockwise, 3/4 turns clockwise, full turn clockwise. So the next sheet, look, practices anti-clockwise. Now you cut out the shape, and I like it because you've got to cut it out and you can see it. So if you cut out that pentagon there and you put it on top of that pentagon, you would then be able to physically move it round to do a 1/4 turn. So you could pick that one, and you could then have a go at this one if you like, to practice right angles. Okay, so there's the choice of shapes, and this activity asks you to cut out the shapes, and you need to decide whether it has any right angles in, whether it's one right angle or two or more right angles. So you could go back to yesterday and use that right angle finder that I gave you to help you hunt for those. Okay, now if you just want to do the Education City one, that's okay, because it's still covering the things that I've asked you to look at today. If you wanted to start with the easier one, that's fine. Or if you wanted to pick one or two of these alternative activities, it's up to you. There's another one here you can choose from that's animals instead, because it will help you to picture it a little more easily than the shapes would. Okay, you could have a go at more than one, it's up to you. Or if you wanted to do it as a game, you could lay it out in the Lego way that I talked you through a little earlier. So I hope that is a good choice for all the different children that we have in year 2. Please keep emailing your work across. And I've put on here, I hope that came back up for you guys. I've put that there's one live lesson, but obviously you're watching that, but please take any photos and email your work across to us, because we love seeing how you're doing. We care about you and we're proud of how hard you are working. You're turning up every day, and that's awesome. It's fantastic. We're really happy. Now, you could also come along to the daily Zoom sessions to share your work, because it's another way that we get a fast response to see how you're doing with it. We love seeing you, and your friends love seeing you too. So it's at 1:30 every day of the Zoom sessions, and we have been bouncing ideas to try and see how we can make those as fun as possible. So we're looking at doing some more quizzes for you, or we're going to try some bingo, maybe even a bit of movement and dance for you too. So we'll keep working really hard for you, just because you are working really hard too. Okay. So have fun learning about rotation, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay.